Chapter 14, The Data Bank. It's very late, but I stop by to kiss Clara anyway. New arguments, new disagreements. We're definitely not meant to get along these days. Love exacerbates emotions, everything is stronger, more intense. I shouldn't have come back. I'd better go. I leave her there, in tears. I do a final check on my gear, I've got everything I need. It's 3:30 and I'm off to the databank. I hit the road and take stock of the defense system that awaits me. A state bank is big game for me. I can't afford any mistakes. I parked the speedster about 100 yards from the bank and approached the main entrance on foot. The building, bristling with pylons on which spotlights are fixed, is bathed in the stillness of the night. Opposite me, the only entrance is a 10-foot-high gate framed by 2 pillars. This is where I plan to enter, but to approach it without neutralizing the security systems is pure madness. According to Caliguian's disk, the entrance is equipped with infrared cameras and self-operated crawlers. I detach my scrambler from my suit, switch it on and calculate on my internal screen the distance to a point on the perimeter wall far enough away from the main entrance. Then I launch the scrambler. It flies through the air at the determined angle and fixes itself on the wall. It immediately starts searching for the frequencies used by the surveillance cameras. 10 seconds later, my internal screen tells me that the jamming is complete. The soldiers inside the building will soon react. We've got to be quick. I race to the 10-foot portal and leap through it. Once inside, I deactivate the scrambler. I turn right. I push all my detection functions to the max. I scan the area separating me from the building. I detect no human or other presence. On the other hand, dozens of red dots materialize in my field of vision. I exclaim. Damn! This wasn't on my intelligence. Pressure sensors. This unexpected event alters my plans a little. I grab the self-propelled grappling hook and set it off after securing it to a concrete stud. The harpoon snaps onto the parapet surrounding the building. I take hold of the grapple's self-propelled handles and order the ascent. A few seconds later, I'm on the roof. Just as I thought, the elevator terminal is not far away. Here lies the flaw in the system. After unscrewing the protective plate, I take my hacker and connect it to the computer system. I easily penetrate the program's internal clock. Beforehand, I hacked into the computer system of the company responsible for the maintenance of these elevators, in order to get my hands on the schedule of visits. Once the clock had been set to the desired date and time, the elevator's airlock opened. The machine, believing it to be a routine visit, is no longer connected to the bank's alarm system. I enter the elevator and order. Lower level 4. The descent goes off without a hitch. The voice program confirms my arrival at my destination. I then use the hacker to leave the elevator doors open. I also inject a virus designed to make it look as if a repair has been carried out, in order to justify immobilizing the elevator on this floor. From here, I can see the room where I should logically discover the information I'm interested in. But first I have to watch out for the detection cells on either side of the elevator door frame. A few steps forward and the little black eyes will alert security to my presence. I change my body temperature to remain undetectable. Then, using a laser stylus, I cut into the elevator ceiling. I slip through the opening. Opposite, towards the room I'm aiming for, a new trapdoor gives me access to the false ceiling. I enter it and advance towards my objective. I then activate the suction function of my enhanced body. Immediately, light air suctions are heard from my hands and knees. I place my hand on one of the slabs and switch on the suction. The suction glues my hand to the slab. I cut it and place it on my right. At last, I can go home. Now, like a veritable tarantula, I'm making my way across the ceiling of the room. The security system must already have detected the air movement I'm producing. But fortunately, in the absence of any heat source, the alarm is not sounded. My intrusion is treated as a suspicious draft, but not enough to trigger the alarm. Security systems, however sophisticated, are not credible if they are triggered at every turn. When I get close to the room's mainframe, I untie my hands and hang from the ceiling by my knees. Then I connect my data hacker's cable to the machine and launch my hacking program. It takes a few minutes to break the access codes. Soon, the manager succeeds and the mainframe menu appears. I click on the industrial sector icon and direct the search to companies in the armament sector. I easily find the WCA Inc. folder, which contains several dozen files. I save them all. Loading takes a few seconds. It's time to leave, as quickly as possible. But on my virtual screen, a title flashes. Political data. Secret files, hidden files, maximum risk. And a hacker's hint definitely catches my eye: incongruous data, presence of inappropriate files. What are these files doing here? A mistake, surely? I think for a few moments and, with a little more time to spare, I decide to save it. We'll see what it's all about later. Well, the loading is done. The data is now inside me, in my database, at the heart of my artificial body. I return to the elevator. I deactivate the suction cup function and give the order to go up to the last level. The car complies. I consult my internal clock. The timing I've set myself is perfectly respected. In a few minutes, I'll be out of the building. Suddenly, the elevator stops. I'm stuck between the third and second floors. Elevation impossible, anomaly on upper level. Warns the voice program. It's a big problem. Something must have entered through the gaping hatch in the roof. I order the doors to open and activate my motion scanner. No heat source is detected. I have to choose between the second and third levels. During Kolob's match, I had the opportunity to pick up some very important information about tonight's rounds. It's best for me to avoid going out on the third level. The sentry there is particularly dangerous. I try to force my way into the second level. It doesn't work. The hacker's only response is, "Level blocked, general overhaul." I have no choice but to face a formidable sentry. I go out on the third level. The place is totally deserted and plunged into darkness. There don't seem to be any sentries around. I pick up my Mauser for added security and switch my vision to infrared mode. I must be in some kind of administrative department. No point in trying to force a door at the moment, I tell myself. Let's see where this corridor leads. There must be some emergency exits. I make my way cautiously to the right, when, behind me, a slight clatter awakens my attention. I barely have time to turn my head when someone or something gives me a violent shove in the back. I roll over. I lose my gun. It slips out of my grasp. I come face to face with my assailant. It's a cybernetic tiger. This time, the bank has pulled out all the stops in its defense. The beast stares at me with its ruby eyes. A cybernetic hand never deceives its program. I'm an intruder, it must eliminate me. We watch each other for a few seconds. I desperately search my eyes for my Mauser, all the while staring at the beast. She can sense I'm in trouble. Suddenly, it makes a prodigious leap, all claws out. I can't use the explosives I have with me. The confined space would put me in serious danger. Left with no choice, I order my katana creel to be activated. The chain encircling the blade begins to spin, and the accompanying electric shocks rip through the darkness of the corridor. We face each other and begin a round of observation that will inexorably end in the death of one of us. We throw ourselves at each other in a deadly aerial ballet. I launch myself at the tiger. At the last moment, I slip beneath him as he leaps above me. Wishing to disembowel him, I raise my katana as he passes. But he's extremely fast and his programs work just as fast as mine. Just as I thought I'd hit my target, he spun on my side and, with one swipe of his paw, cut deep into my right shoulder. I bled profusely. In 1/100th of a second, I've lost part of my fighting ability. The tiger falls back behind me. I stand up and face it, ready to lunge again. I'm not allowed to fail. This is my second and final attack. I take my katana in my left hand. I lunge and jump again. This time, I extend my arm to the maximum and give my attack maximum reach. I slice first. The animal, pierced between the front legs, collapses. I turn the beast over, grasp the weapon with both hands and drive it deeper. I finish the creature off by severing its main brain. The beast lets out a final howl. Its vital streams flood the ground and my feet. I'm off to retrieve my Mauser. I haven't yet caught my breath when the sirens start wailing. 2 purple magnetic fields appear instantly, one in front of me, the other behind. Now I'm trapped between 2 walls of red light. Your position is hopeless, says a voice. Lay down your weapons and no harm will come to you. I've only got a few seconds before security arrives. I draw my Mauser and fire at the light wall. But it doesn't give way. Quickly, I have to react. I aim for the ceiling and fire a massive burst. The force field collapses. The way is clear. It's about time. A group of soldiers is already running through the corridors. After leaving 3 grenades with the pins pulled, I smash open the door nearest me and rush into the room. I rush to the window. The blast from the grenades throws me through the bay window. I'm literally thrown into the void. 100 feet of emptiness below me. I spin around and propel the grappling hook attached to my forearm. It catches on the wall and I'm hurtling back towards it. The violent impact sends me smashing through the canopy. I'm now only about 30 feet away. I jump. Here I am at the bottom. I have to choose my exit route quickly. I head for the gate. I've got to force my way out or be trapped like a rat. Every patrol in town is probably converging on the bank right now. I'm in pain, and my encounter with the tiger has taken its toll on me. I switch on my healing functions. The nanotechnology in me will momentarily restore the use of my right arm. To my left, 2 sentries emerge from the building. I give them no chance. I set my gun to maximum intensity and aim at the first one's head. The discharge hits him full force, shattering his metal skull. The man is catapulted 15 feet backwards. Immediately, the second soldier triggers his back thrusters and heads for the entrance gate. I let go. That bastard's going to block me. With long strides, I make my way along the walkway, slaloming between the explosive plates embedded in the ground. I cross the lawn and finally reach the imposing enclosure. I aim at the spotlights overhanging the pillars up to the entrance gate. One by one, I destroy them. From now on, darkness conceals me. My thermal function forces me to switch to seismic detection mode. The shock waves of my footsteps should logically appear on the guard's retinas. I take off. At 200 yards, he starts shooting. Fortunately, his imprecise vision and my frantic slalom disturb him enough to prevent him from reaching me. 100 yards away, I order my internal functions. Overboost function. Uncle has not only deprived me of a troublesome bug, he has also endowed me with overamplified physical functions, and my plasma engine momentarily sees its power multiplied by 10. 30 yards away, the gusts graze me. This is the crucial moment. A super powerful impulse catapults me forward and I cover the final distance, 10 feet above the ground. Noting the sudden stop of the shockwaves on his screen, the sentry straightens up and exclaims, "I got the bastard. I've got him." But the whistling sound that accompanied my arrival alerted him too late to his error. I hit the ground hard, almost horizontally, rebounded in a shower of sparks and slid several meters behind the guard. Taking advantage of the portal lighting, I aim right. He screams as he makes a defensive move. This scream will be my last. I shoot. The burst hits him in the chest and propels his body against the wall behind him. He then slides to the ground, leaving a wide vermilion trail against the wall. The way is now clear. My overbooster mode allows me to leap the grid in a single bound. I head for my speedster. I fire it up and start off with a bang. My machine rears up and spits a huge streak of light across the asphalt, leaving the deafening sound of sirens behind me. The manhunt is just beginning. As soon as I reach the first crossroads, I give it full throttle and order the engine to switch to supercharging mode. The speedster quickly passes the 400 miles per hour mark. Just as I'd expected, the warning lights, installed at the side of the road every 100 yards, go off just a few seconds after I leave the state bank. As I pass, one red light after another lights up like so many police eyes. Now that they've located me, they'll never let me go. Several patrols inevitably gave chase. Huddled behind the speedster's protective bubble, I scan my control screen for pursuers and an idea of my lead. But the screen remains hopelessly blank. I guess the bastards have forgotten me. Suddenly, as I approach the east sector tunnels, a burst of plasma grazes the speedster. The glowing discharge slams into one of the pillars in front of me. Launched like a missile, I continue along the ring road through the cloud of dust and fire. 3 vehicles, a booster and 2 speedsters, materialize on my onboard navigator. It doesn't take long for the scanner's automatic scan to lock onto their frequency. I've broken their network beforehand and can hear their dialogue. "We're approaching the fugitive, Commander," sizzles a voice in my headset. Then the soldier adds, "Interception scheduled in 2 minutes." The officer replies, "Shoot on sight." He's picked up level 6 information. He can't get out alive. My pursuers are gaining ground. The booster, the most powerful machine, is in the lead, closely followed by the 2 speedsters. I visualize their positions and wait for the exit of a bend before launching my counteroffensive. At the right moment, I release an explosive strip. It instantly unfurls on the ground across the entire width of the road. "Beware! Mined area! Mined area!" shouts one of the cops into my helmet. The voice is lost in the enormous din of the explosion. The booster instantly disappears from my navigator, but not the 2 speedsters. They slow down and rush into the gap opened by the first vehicle. One of my pursuers informs his superior. "Commander, the booster has just been destroyed." The officer snarls, "You incompetents! Go for it! I absolutely must have it." The terminals confirm the theft of vital information. They're getting dangerously close. I'll have to improvise. One of the 2 speedsters gets closer. It fires in my direction. The bursts pass right in front of my machine and explode the pavement. I activate my countermeasures. My micro-turret deploys. Aim on automatic and spit a rain of fire at my pursuer. He has no time to react. His left aerodynamic struts explode. He loses control. However, he manages to slow down and comes to a halt at the side of the road. There's only one left. I accelerate to maximum. The velocity chip gives as good as it gets. The toll plaza is now in sight, at the end of a straight stretch. I'm in for a surprise. A steel wall several meters high has been erected in front of the booths. But I don't slow down. The astonished cop does the same. The last few miles go by at full speed. 3 miles, 2 miles, 1 miles. The steel barrier in front of us is growing by leaps and bounds. My pursuer exclaims, "What's he doing? He'll never have time to brake. Don't let go." That's an order. interrupts the commander. At 2 miles from the toll booths, I gradually disconnect the speedster's magnetic poles and position my aerodynamic supports so as to maintain control. Then I push the engine to its maximum power. The speedster rears up and takes off. Enough to clear the dam. The sound of a violent impact behind me tells me that my pursuer, unable to brake, has just crashed into the metal barrier. I come into contact with the freeway's magnetic field. My machine jerks frantically from left to right, then finally rectifies its trajectory. I have to choose between 5 possible directions. They couldn't get there in time to lock them all. I hear on my scanner. We've lost him. Our radars are mute. I can finally get to safety. I've never been up against such power. Obviously, if they've just unleashed all the world's storms against me, I've just got my hands on something decisive. I can't wait to get home and sort it out. I'm hurtling at 400 miles per hour towards answers that will change my life and the lives of those around me. Some of the discoveries are particularly far-reaching.